Okay, how's everyone doing? This is Dr. Bagley. Thank you very much for joining me. All right, so today I want to conclude the man's perspective. So we're going to do 3 questions that I was given, and so I'm going to talk about them just a little bit because I've already talked about them to the persons who had the questions, and so they gave me permission to talk about it to you guys to help you out. If you haven't looked at the other videos, I talked a little bit about starting relationships. That was 1 of 3. I think 2 of 3, we talked about what a good woman is, the value of a woman, and so on and so on. And so, yeah, so this will be the last part about it. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know down below. If it's personal, DM me. All right, guys. First question, what is a strong woman? So by definition, what is a strong woman? Okay, let's look at the word strong. Okay, how do we get strength? Well, we got to go through heavy times, like lifting weights. You lift, boom, it's heavy. Heaviness builds muscle. Well, when a relationship that has cycles, good days, bad days, good days, bad days. When you go through bad days, how do you act? A typical woman. Now again, I'm only going off the perspective of 20 plus years of counseling, professional counseling, and many, many people. A typical woman, okay, when times are going south, when things are going bad, when the environment is not conducive to a good emotion, her emotion will come out. She will become very passionate, and how she expresses herself will determine if you're a strong woman or not. If you raise your voice, if you yell, if you act a certain way, if you hit, a man's mind, in that little brain called reptilian brain, we call it reptilian brain, but the reptilian brain, there's a trigger that goes off that says, do I want to mate with you right now? Do I want to run from you right now? Or do I want to fight you right now? And a typical woman, if she yells at him and tone is high and she hits, he wants to fight. This is why guys, when they get in that environment with you ladies, and they're extremely quiet. They're quiet. They're soft. They're pushed aside, if you will. They allow you to abuse them, because if they allow themselves to act what that hormone is going through their bodies that we in military use to kill somebody, you would not be here. So you ladies assume that because you yell and scream and act like a 2-year-old and you think you're going to get your way and you passionately hit somebody, or you kind of act inappropriate, he's using you. And it's just a matter of time before he leaves you. Because in his mind, even though you were a good woman, in that mind of his, after the fact, cause and effect, after the fact of how you acted, and if you acted that way, you're not a strong woman to him. And so therefore, he knows your boundaries. He knows where you're at, your level. And as soon as the chance, as soon as the opportunity comes, he's going to let you go. You just need to know this. If you by any chance get into the same environment, situation where your emotion is high, you're very passionate about something, but how you communicate is very soft, strategic, and planning out itself, that man can understand you better, right? He will listen to you and sympathize with you and work with you in this situation. Now, not all men. I know this. I'm not saying this. I'm saying a good man. A good man. But if you find a good man and you talk strategically, you talk like we need a plan and planning it out with him, that's a strong woman by definition to a man. The loudmouth, acting like a 2-year-old kind of woman, just because she's passionate about how she feels about a subject, that woman is not a strong woman by definition of a man's point of view, and he's going to leave you. Okay? We talked about in the other videos. From 30 to maybe 40, 45, he's going to use you. From 45 maybe to 50 to 60, he's going to leave you. And again, it just all depends. I'm not saying factual, but I'm just saying 9 out of 10 times he disconnected from you. And depending on the time, circumstances, and opportunities, okay? So that's what a man thinks a strong woman is. Someone when a relationship goes south, right? And we're in this downtrend, okay? He wants a woman to strategically understand that we need to attack this with a plan, come up with a plan together, and together we're going to reach and get back to where we were. Again, that's a good woman, and that's a strong woman, and that's the woman that typically he wants. Now, the hardship about what I'm saying when it comes to a strong woman is typically a strong woman doesn't know how to act a certain way until she is 30, 35, and so on. So in that very beginning, and again, I say in my other videos, don't date no one until he hits 30 plus. But in the very beginning, he's trying to find himself, you're trying to find yourself, and that relationship's going to have some cycles up and down, tighter than if you were in your 40s and 50s. You're going to have some up and downs, but the timeline between the cycles just won't be there as close. And so if you can learn fast or quickly how to control yourself through the down times, that man will keep you and value you more so than if you just fly off the hook, and then you'll find yourself 30, 40 by yourself. Okay? All right. So I hope I answered that question the best way I could in a broad sense. This has nothing to do with you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, DM me. Okay, let me know. Okay. All right, number 2, the second question, being a step parent. The hardship about being a step parent. Okay. Contrary to belief, and I should write a book actually. Contrary to belief, a step parent, let's say the father, the man, is a stepfather. Contrary to belief, it's all about the child. Okay? The woman can be as good as gold, and the man can be, I want to be with you forever. But if that child in some kind of way sabotage that relationship, he's going to leave. Okay? He's going to leave. if that child sabotages that relationship. Now, why would a child sabotage a relationship? Well, quite honestly, it's very simple. It's when the mom becomes a friend to the child, and the child in what we call codependency developing stages, the child becomes the man of the house or the leader of the house or the protector of the household, because mom made some messed up decisions before and she can't make it up her good decisions by herself, so I need to help her. That's where codependency starts and originates itself. And so the parent now looks at the child as a friend more so than a child. And so typically the child and the mother are friends more so than mother and child relationship. And there is a difference, okay? When a child becomes a friend to the mother, okay, we're friends, when a man comes in, the child will feel threatened that the man is going to take the lead of the woman, and the child is going to feel separated or segregated from that responsibility of taking care of the mom. And so there's going to be that battle, and that battle is going to be won by the child, because after all, what mother won't take care of the child? And the man is just going to get frustrated, and in that frustration, even though you're a good woman, the child is going to sabotage that relationship and he's going to leave. Okay. I've seen that so many times. That's why I personally, typically, will not go with a person, be with a person, unless their child is almost out the house. Because I'm not going through that. Because that's hard. All right. The other type of the child situation, good woman, good man, come together. The child loves the man, and the child wants that relationship to work. But the man, older, been through some things, understands and wants to teach the child some of the mistakes not to make that the man made, and applies it through the disciplinary position. And in that disciplined position, no child wants to be disciplined, right? Just face the facts. No child wants to be disciplined. And in that discipline, the mom does not back up the father, the man, the stepdad, the man. So the child says, I don't have to listen to you. And the man says, yes, you do. And the mom says, no, not really. That child doesn't need to listen to you. Just let it go. Kind of deal. Just, right? As soon as the woman doesn't back up the man through the disciplinary position, then the man will feel that his value or his position of value as the man to be there, he doesn't need to be there. And he won't be there. He'll be there for a while because you're a good woman. But it's just a frustration that builds, and eventually, if you guys don't get that together, if you don't work that out, meaning, woman, you need to back him up, and as long as he's disciplinary with common sense, and you may not understand it, but it's common sense to the idea that he's just expressing his experience of how to be a man, he's going to leave. And he's going to hate that he leaves, but he's going to leave. And the child, again, is going to be hurt in this situation. The woman is going to be hurt in this situation. And they will mend together while outsiders, the men who wants to come in, they're going to have a wall built up. And eventually the child then will say, well, if you want me and I want you, and they're no good because we need to be together. And that's how friendships are made. And now the child is a friend with the mom. And that's, again, the codependency position. And Yeah, so being a step parent is extremely hard. You have to watch out when your child tries to sabotage the relationship. And then you have to watch out when you don't support the man in the disciplinary position. Now, when I say support, meaning don't go against him in front of the child. When the child is asleep, going to school or whatever, then you guys can talk about that disciplinary act and how to act and what to do and so on. But not in front of the child. As soon as you do it in front of the child, it's just a matter of time. Okay? All right. I hope I brought understanding to that point. The third question, why do men use me? Okay, why do men use people, women, you? Okay, the answer is in two parts. The first part is you allow it. You allow him to use you. Now, what do I mean about using you? A woman in her position of wanting to be with someone, regardless of what the reasoning is, would overlook red flags of a guy who is doing something, let's say he's working, but he has no growth within that working position. There is no, I want to grow into something better than where I'm at right now. Okay. He will typically, he will go to work, come home, get on video games. Okay? And that's fine in the beginning. But ladies, that's a red flag. Why is it a red flag? It's not, the video games is not the red flag. Going to work, coming home, playing video games, that's not the red flag. The red flag is the fact that he, the man, has no future. He has no, I want to become something better. I want to become a leader. I want to become a manager. I want to have my own business. I want to be, and he's striving for it, right? It takes time to strive for something, granted, but you have those guys who don't want to strive for nothing, who is not striving for nothing, and they give you a lot of talk with no action, and that's a red flag. Therefore, you allow him, and when he feels like you're nagging him too much, he's just going to leave, or he's going to use you and cheat on you, or and so on and so on. Okay. So you allow that in your relationship. You allow that coming into your relationship. You didn't cut it as soon as you felt it or know it that he wasn't going to become nothing more than what he is right now. And typically, it's from 18 to 25, 30 range is how that typically works. It's a problem, extreme problem, if he's 30 to 35 and 40 and he's still acting like that. Okay? Because once a guy hits 30, he's trying to find himself. It's a problem when he's 30 and doesn't want to and don't care to find himself. He's content in where he is right now. Yeah, so that's a red flag. So he uses you because you allow him to use you. Okay. The second part of why men uses you is because of all the other videos. Put all that together, including the first and the second question. Put all that together and you understand that between ages 30 to 50, 55, he is building himself up. He's finding himself. He's growing into something. A typical guy is growing into something, and he needs you, let it be sexual, let it be financial, let it be whatever, but he's using you until a different opportunity comes along, a different choice to be made. He's going to use you until that. And so that right there, ladies, I need you to realize something. That is a cause and effect, because a man needs a woman. There's no question about it. And it's very problematic when you find a single man who is good, single. It's a problem when you find a man single. Now, again, the circumstances, like my relationship, and she passed away. There's some time to heal through that process. So yes, there's that gap that needs to take place. But 2 years from now, and I'm still single, there's a problem. A man should not be single. Okay? No man wants to be single, but no man, the older he gets, let's say from 50 and above, no man is going to settle with a woman who's not working with him, a woman who's not a strong woman, a woman who says, I'm independent, I don't need a man, but I want a man, kind of thing. She's nagging. No man is going to settle with that. He's going to let you go. And so therefore, a typical 50 and above will use a woman, because he doesn't want to go through, and he knows a woman has some good and bad here and there, right? And so he's going to use here and there type women until a worthy woman comes along and proves herself to be worthy. But that's very rare in America as we go along in time. Okay? So in concluding, the question is, you're afraid to address those red flags. When you have red flags and you don't want to address them, and he doesn't want to learn and work with you as you work with him, you're going to be used. And the older you get, the older he gets, more specifically, the less value you are, you have to examine. The question is, what is he using me for? A lot of times it can be because he says, I'm going to be with you until the kids grow up. He says, I'm going to be with you until X, Y, and Z. Ask yourself, why would he use you? Why is he still there? What does he need from you? It can be a house, it can be financials, it can be sexuality, it can be numerous things. But I guarantee you, if you boil it down, it can be your attitude, it can be how you treat him through your communication or the lack of, it can be all of that. He will let you go. But let me say this, ladies. A man who finds value in a woman, I need you to understand this. That woman should not worry about competing against other women. When a man is committed, he's committed. When a man is not committed, he's not committed, and he will still be there. Okay? I say this to say, if you feel jealous or insecure within your relationship, you have an opportunity to examine your relationship and come to the truth of the fact of, does he need me? And if the answer is no, then that subconsciously, if not consciously, is the root of your jealousy and insecurity within that relationship. The cause and effect, your fear, the cause and effect of that fact is opportunity that may present itself to him. If you understand that, if you're mature enough to understand that, you can keep your man. You can get a man and keep a man for a long time. But if you can't, if you don't understand it, let me know. I will try to do my best, but it takes two. When he quits, it's done. Okay? All right. So, what is a strong woman? The hardships of being a step parent, and why do men uses you, me, the woman? All right, guys. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know down below. If it's really personal, DM me. Okay. And if not, thank you very much for your time. I hope I brought value to your time, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.